from Long Beach, California. It's Friday afternoon. Just talking with some friends about going live. Fun to go live. I was trying to get used to this whole going live thing. Interesting. Some people need to start, some people need a conversation in the chat. So we can do both. New recording track created. Yeah, LinkedIn seems to have bought the farm again. I don't know what's going on there. But LinkedIn and Riverside, LinkedIn Live and Riverside don't like each other all that much. Let me just check to make sure I'm live 1 second here on X. Yeah. Sound? Do I have sound? No, sound. Good. Okay. Is it... Am I using the wrong microphone? Is that a thing? That could be. Let's see here. Yeah, I am using the wrong microphone. Damn it. Why? Okay, I'm gonna back out and then come back in. 1 second. YouTube just, maintained the live. Let's see. Yeah, stream is still going. Stream shows no data. So I'm going to give YouTube a second to figure that out. And it looks like, I think we're back. Comment over on the YouTube side if you can see me. Yeah, it sounds so much better. Sorry about that, folks. That was almost a disaster. I almost had terrible audio. And as you may or may not know, having terrible audio can kill a stream. So, all right. Let's pull up some stuff here. It's been an insane, crazy week. So finally gonna get some sleep this weekend, I think. Got some new toys, talking to you via the Elgato Prompter XL. Got a video on that coming out maybe later today if I can finish it in time before I go offline for the weekend. So that might end up happening. We'll see. Not really, what do you call it? Not really saying anything just yet. Give people another minute or two because I had some technical difficulty there. But yeah, drop your questions in the chat. Anything you want to talk about. I have topics as well, of course. That's the way that I like to do it. Let's see. I think one of the interesting things about the way that I do live is that I like live is a fallback for me. I don't need to be live. I've got a show I can do, but if we're just all about chatting, then that's totally cool also. Like fine by me. We can go both ways. We can do either way. I'm happy to do both. Whoops. Let's see here. Bring the chat over here, and now I can do this cool thing where I share my screen and show you the links I'm talking about, but also have the chat up. Not that there's anybody chatting at the moment. Talking to myself here. I'm in an echo chamber, so to speak, I suppose. Not sharing my screen yet, but I will. Let's see here. What do we got going on? A whole bunch of stuff here. Pull up the YouTube threads. All right, we're going to go. It's 1:07 p.m. here in sunny Southern California. Bunch of things going on here, trying not to whack the desk. I have a new monitor, as I mentioned, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I should probably do the intro. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to Tech for Work. My name is Jesse Nolan. I'm the founder of Tab Geeks. I haven't done an intro like this in a little while because, well, I keep forgetting to do one, and I didn't do a live show last week because I did a big time. I actually did 2 live shows. Hey, BJ's here. Party time. I did 2 live shows last week that were not my live show. Actually, one of them was recorded, not live. I did the Ubiquity mega stream with Mac Telecom and Inside Wire, and I always forget what his channel is. DCL. DPC. There it is. DPC technology. It would help if I actually wrote this stuff down. And we schmoozed about all things Ubiquity for about an hour and a half. And so if you're interested in seeing that, I will leave a link down below, or you can just check out the channel. That was a lot of fun doing that with those guys. Really knowledgeable group, just schmoozing, talking about Ubiquity stuff. So if you missed that, definitely go and check that out. And then the other one I did was the UI Chat podcast, which is a video and audio. And so you can get it everywhere that there are podcasts, etc. And that was also talking about the month's what do you call it? The month's news in Ubiquity. They do a monthly show talking about all the latest updates and releases for Ubiquity specifically. And so we talked a little bit about my trip to Miami for the conference, and the crazy week that was, as well as some of the stuff that we saw there and some of the new stuff that came out. And unfortunately for him, it was like minutes before Ubiquity came out with new products. So I guess this will go into the following month's what do you call it? The following month's video with him. But that's why I didn't do a live last week, because it was Thanksgiving weekend. I think it was last week. I don't know. Time is wacky right now. End of year. It's not going to slow down. I'm accepting it right now. End of the year. It used to be, the last couple of weeks things would slow down, they would die out, and you could clean things up and get things done. And I'm just realizing that it's only accelerating and it's not stopping. And I hardly know what day it is or what week it is anymore. It's just an insane pace. Everything to do with all of the news that's coming out around AI, all the new products, all the moves that are being, taken, and Google is still releasing stuff, even though it's the last month of the year. Welcome to December, by the way. Yes, we are in December. I can hardly believe it either, but that's where we are at. So, um, I will. That being said, didn't do a live show last week, but I'm doing today. And yes, BJ says wake up tomorrow and it'll be 2027. Yes, shut up. You're right. I think it was March, like last week, right? I'm pretty sure. So, um, essentially, I am going to be doing an extra live show next week on Monday, because the Android YouTube channel, has announced that they're doing a live. I mean, it's broadcast live, but these things are usually recorded in advance. But they're going to be doing a live show all around everything Android XR. And I have a feeling, and from what I might be hearing from in the industry, there might be some interesting updates here for Android XR. So I'm going to do an immediate follow up live show the minute that is over. So I have it scheduled right now for Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific, because I imagine it's only going to be an hour. However, if it goes longer than an hour, I will go live the second it is done. So if you're watching that show, immediately after they wrap, then come over to my channel, and we'll go live and we can talk about it. Although, hey, could I actually do a live Let's do a watching party. How would that work? I would have to share my screen and the audio, and obviously it would be a second or two behind real time, but we could just get on and do it live and watch it together. Let me see if I can figure that out. I think that would be fun. Put it in the comments if you want to if you want to join that, if you think that would be a cool way to do it, or if you want to watch the event and then do a live show afterwards. But hey, I'm pretty deeply steeped in the world of XR. I've got the Samsung Galaxy XR and was a little bit disappointed by it. And maybe they'll announce that there's going to be a software update for the first time since it came out, because it really could use one. There's some features that it needs, like travel mode. It's useless to me on the road. I can't take it with me. Take the Vision Pro for sure, because this thing, short of being in a hotel room, rather useless on a plane or in a car, etc. So, looking forward to whatever updates they're going to reveal there. Theoretically, maybe we'll hear about some new what do you call it? The rest of the Android XR ecosystem. They've been teasing us with glasses form factors for a while here, and I'm looking forward to them actually getting some of those out. So let's see. Also, something I wanted to bring your attention to is, if you are in the Los Angeles area, Google Devfest is happening, and let me just see if I can pull up the one from LA. The Los Angeles area one is this Saturday. So I obviously can't go because I will be offline, because, Saturdays is no go for me. But they are going to have a heck of an event. It's going to be a big one, like almost 1,000 people, something like that. Let's see here if I can bring it up on the screen. DevFest, GDG, Greater Los Angeles area. Can I just RSVP? Here it is. Let me share my screen so that y'all can see the invite here. DevFest. Do I do DevFest? Yeah. So DevFest 2025, GDG, Greater Los Angeles area. It's at the Pasadena Convention Center. It is on Saturday, December 6th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, PST. In the morning, they are getting started. They have a keynote, the global head of strategy and partnerships and AI solutions at Google Cloud. And then some other sessions they're having are building and monetizing your apps, what prompts and birthdays teach us about the AI experience. scaling cancer research to billions of pixels, an AI and cloud powered approach. Some really, really interesting stuff. AI around the world, scaling apps for the AI era. Then they've also got a bunch of different workshop tracks here. Mission AI Impossible. That should be a fun one. Oh, Alex Keeler is going to be here. Oh, I should tell her to stop by. We always hang out at Google Next each year. And she's from like middle of the US somewhere, and we don't get to see each other outside of Next usually. So she should come by for a barbecue. Alice, if you're listening, which you're not, which I'm sure you're not, feel free to come over after what do you call it, after the event. They also have vibe coding with Gemini CLI. There's building AI agents with Vertex AI. Um, and then also doing an event close and some prizes and networking time. So this is going to be a hell of an event. I know the folks that are running it, and were it not on a Saturday, future planning, maybe don't do it on a Saturday. Were it not on a Saturday, I would have had a very big part in running the event, in planning the event, and whatnot. But I stepped back because I got nothing. There's nothing I can do there. I will not be there on a Saturday period. It's just not happening. So next year maybe we'll do it on a weekday or on a Sunday or something, and I can go in. So if you haven't gotten your tickets for that yet, I highly recommend you do so, because that is going to be a good time. All right, what else did I have here? There was one other piece of news that I wanted to share. I lost my notes. Here they are. Right, Google Cloud Next registration. The other, I guess I shouldn't have stopped sharing my screen. The other major event of the year. This is like a Super Bowl for me, where I do, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 videos on all kinds of different topics, getting ready for and sneak peek and previews and all that jazz. Um, this is the big one. It is honestly, I'm already registered. Of course, registration is open, general registration, and it is the fastest and smoothest and most well organized I've ever seen them do. So I really feel like they got it dialed in, they nailed out all the kinks in it, and this is going to be a really, really good show. It's the third year in Mandalay. Third, I think it's third year in Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas. So probably 35,000 to 40,000 people would be my guess. AI is really big. Google is pretty much on top. Will they still be on top come April? We'll see. But yeah, the dates here are April 22nd to the 24th. And I have a promo code for you that brings the price down to $899. The promo code for that is all capital letters DEV 899 VIP. I'm just going to drop that promo code in the chat here as well. Promo code for Google Next. And that takes the price down to $899, which is even lower than the early bird price, which is $999. And that is much lower than the full price of $2,299. So this is your chance to get a really good discount, better than anybody else on the internet who's not a part of like the GDEs like we are. This is the best price I think that you're going to see, and you should definitely use that now, because this is only for folks that are like in the GDE program, such as myself, who have an audience to share it with, and give that kind of insider discount code. So go and grab that now. Again, DEV 899 VIP, and just search for Google Cloud Next. Make sure you go 2026. I don't think it's going to let you register for 25, but the website is still up for 25. So just make sure you click on the right website there. And this is going to be a big one and a good show. Working on some interesting ideas. I didn't actually end up doing a vlog style video of my experiences last year, but I definitely want to do that again. And hopefully we're going to be, well, actually I can't even say, I don't know. Maybe if I get my way, they'll let me host the Google Workspace meetup again. That was pretty cool. Did that last year, and it was a hell of an experience having a whole bunch of people come together and just kind of schmooze and hang out and talk workspace. So obviously, if that is going to happen and we're planning it, I will let you know about it so that you can make sure to attend. And thank you to everybody who attended that last year. A couple of other things going on here. Happy birthday to ChatGPT. It is the third birthday of the AI age. Literally 3 years ago, we started using ChatGPT when they put it out to the world and said, hey, full send, this looks like fun. Here's a thing. Let's see if the world wants to use this. And they had no idea what it was about to be or what it was going to become or the rate of adoption that it was going to have. it was an explosion. Honestly, it was. I don't know if you remember or if you were paying attention. They literally put it out into the world on Twitter as like, "Hey, this is a cool thing. Maybe some of you will enjoy using it." And then it just exploded and took off. And then Samsung leaked their chip designs by using the tool, and I talk about that in what do you call it? The well, it wasn't live actually. The interview that I did with Colin McCarthy, who you may know from the show. I'll get to that in a second. That was also put out this week. But yeah, 3 years ago we started using ChatGPT. It was an explosion, and we have completely changed pretty much several companies, if not many of the different tech providers that are out there. And Google declared a code red, as I made a video about, showing them getting back to basics and getting back to shipping faster than they were. They were, had a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of issues, and they were, they weren't putting out the big ideas, and they were kind of kicking themselves that it wasn't them who put this out, given that they wrote the paper that invented this whole AI thingamabob capability. And so I think they were a little pissed off by that, and they did a phenomenal job. And here we are, Google is on top. And so now, because Google, and I will say that ChatGPT, I believe it was lost 8% of market share after Google 3.0 came out. Sorry, after Gemini 3.0 came out. And you can't see me at all? Seriously? That's annoying. Ugh. Riverside did a change here. I feel sheepish. There I am. Hi. Thank you, BJ. For anybody who is listening and not watching, apparently I clicked the wrong thing in Riverside because they changed how the layouts work, and apparently that affects it live. So it was only just what do you call it? It was only just my screen that was on the display there, and not me. So I have fixed that. So thank you very much, PJ, for calling that out. Where was I here? The Right. So now, in response to them losing almost 10% market share in the chat space and AI space, they have declared their own code red. Wait, I just looked down at the preview here, and it shows that like I just have like my little face icon there. Okay, comment, VJ. Tell me if you can see me, because it looks like on the screen that I can, but I don't know. Maybe Riverside is being strange today. Or I'll just stop sharing because I don't need to share this anymore. That's fine. Whatever. It's all good. It's all good. See, so Riverside isn't switching back now that I've turned off screen sharing. I don't know. I need to rebuild everything and figure out why this is doing it. PJ, looking forward to seeing you. Yes, also Google Next. That'd be great. Oh, we can't see you. Only Google Next. That's what you're saying. Well, if you're coming to Google Next, I want to see you for sure. But anyway, where was I? ChatGPT has declared a code red in response to them losing so much market share to Google. And I thought it was a very interesting mirror of Google's code red in response to ChatGPT coming out and sideswiping them on this. And we've come all the way full circle here. Now I'm going to bring up my notes on my phone, which is down in front of me, because when I click out of the Riverside window, it's for some reason does not seem to be showing my face, so my video feed. So I'm just going to leave that as is. I'm not going to touch it. You can see it. I can see the chat from YouTube on my second screen, and we're just going to freestyle it. I still have my notes, so that's good. Let's talk about some of the other major news. Oh, good. BJ says you can see me. Other major news of the day: Netflix is buying Warner Brothers Discovery, which is just mind-boggling. The fact that we have reached a point here where Netflix has grown so big that the only place for them to go is to buy Hollywood. And so they're buying Warner Brothers, which is, historic in many, many rights. And of course, a lot of our childhoods was Looney Tunes and kid shows like that, all from Warner Brothers, not to mention DC Comics, as well as lots of other properties, is now going to be owned by Netflix. And it's going to be really interesting to see where that goes, because if it closes, I think it will, but they were battling with Comcast, I think, wanted some of it, and Paramount wanted to buy it outright as well. And Netflix was like, "No, it's our turn. We need to get this." And it's interesting also because Netflix didn't used to really do acquisitions. They would build things. They would engineer. They would pivot. They would innovate. They would come up with ways to compete and to beat the competition that were not buying out other folks. And so it seems that in order to really take it to the next level and jump ahead, they needed two things. One, studios, like real, studios and distribution from actual Hollywood, and two, IP, a tremendous amount of IP rights, and that is what is driving up the price here. They are paying $82.7 billion, and the transaction is expected to close after Warner Brothers Global Networks, their Global Networks division, Discovery Global, is spun off into a new publicly traded company. That's their cable network. And so once that is spun off, then this transaction will close, and that's supposed to be in Q3 of 2026. So um, they highlight some of the IP here, the franchises and shows and movies that Warner Brothers owns, which also includes HBO. So all of the HBO shows. So The Big Bang Theory, The Sopranos, Game of Thrones, Wizard of Oz, the DC Universe, um, is all going to be under the Netflix umbrella as long as this deal closes. And part of my brand here, the show, the name, and I mentioned this earlier in my Slack community, the tab in Tab Geeks stands for tech and business, because you can't have business these days without tech, and obviously tech is very big business, and so they felt that they really go together in synergy, and they need each other and can't operate without each other. And I am passionate about both. I love both tech and business. And James Dube over here in the comments says, love Rocket Lab in the background. That's the Rocket Lab book that I have over my shoulder. That's their new coffee table book. It is gorgeous. But as far as tech and business, Rocket Lab is a great example. Why I'm also interested in space. I mean, everybody who, not everybody, but most people who are nerds like us are interested in space, and we've always fantasized about it and whatnot. But that is the ultimate of technology and exploration and travel and business. This is the only other company other than SpaceX really today that's making a major go of being a ongoing. Sorry, Blue Origin, fine, yes, you get in there as well. We'll see. Blue Origin is finally getting around to it, and hopefully they'll have a much bigger 2026 than they did in 2025. But Rocket Lab is just on fire, and I'm a huge fan of them. So um, yeah, BJ says it just felt my Netflix subscription go up. Yeah, you and all of us, Netflix has to pay for this tens of billions of dollars that they're going to sink into this deal, as well as the tens of billions they're going to sink into new content after that, just to be able to afford all of it. So I can totally see that the Netflix subscription will go up in the future. That is a likely eventuality over here. Um, that is pretty much all I had to say about Netflix. And speaking of Amazon, Amazon owns Prime Video. Um, their Starlink competitor, as I mentioned, I think in the last show or the show before that, has been renamed to Amazon Leo. And we got to see some of the, what do you call it? Some of the new information about their antenna. They have what they're calling the Amazon Leo Ultra antenna, and is designed to be able to get up to 1 gigabit down and 400 meg up. So they are really trying to put the screws to SpaceX in what they're able to do. This is their enterprise preview dish. I am going to try and get my hands on it. Obviously, I'm a huge Starlink fan, and I mean, honestly, I'm really just a fan of really good internet, especially around the world in places that don't have it, and the fact that it's able to come from space. And I won't say that I'm beholden to Starlink, although Elon did retweet me. That was pretty cool, and did Starlink and those folks. So thanks for that, guys. But that being said, as a business guy and a technology guy, that is also an ultimate exploration area there for me, to be able to get internet at gigabit speeds anywhere in the world as long as you have one of these dishes. So they are going to be, or they were in Vegas. I wasn't able to make it out for that because that was the AWS conference they just had this week or last week, and I was not buying a $2,000 ticket just to be able to get in for that. Maybe in the future, I'll either find a sponsor who can get me in, or get that comped somehow, or some kind of a press pass or something, just so that I can go see it. But for right now, I did sign up for updates on it and did sign up for early access. So if it does go on sale and it's not like insanely expensive, I'll buy it and I'll get an account and I'll do a review on it, just like I did with my other Starlink videos. James says, I'm on Starlink and hopefully I can get to Leo, as I can't get capacity in the new house I'm moving to. but honestly, it's going to be a while. Yeah, it's going to be a while. It's going to be a while also at prices that are approachable for, everyday mortals like us, as opposed to mega corporations that are, cruise ships or airlines, or the deals that they're making at this point, for those that have hypercritical needs to be able to stay online and want to be partnering with Amazon on that. That being said, maybe they'll surprise us and they'll say, "Hey, here's a $2,000 dish, just lined in price with Starlink's high performance dish," and then the service will be, probably a couple $100 a month. I would imagine they got to be competitive on this. Like, they're going up against Starlink. Starlink has the market right now, so much so to the fact that HughesNet, I think it was, basically is telling their customers, "Go away, go to Starlink. We don't want you anymore." Um, so they really, you can call it a monopoly, but that's just because there's nobody else out there. So Amazon, Leo, get it together. I am looking forward to that being a viable option because competition is good, rising tide and all of that, but also competition causes other companies, your competitors, to dance, just like Google made everybody else dance. And even though Microsoft wanted to make Google dance, they made Google dance, and now Google is kicking their butts and OpenAI's butts, and it's fun. It's fun being such a big Google fan and watching them, rock and roll and seriously cook as they have in the past couple of years even. Okay. Talked about Leo, talked about ChatGPT, OpenAI's Code Red. Google DeepMind, which is at the core of a lot of, if not all of the Google AI research stuff they have been doing. They just hired a dude by the name of Aaron Saunders. He's the former CTO of a small company you may have heard of that Google owned once upon a time called Boston Dynamics. If you're not familiar with this company, those are the guys that for the last decade, guys and gals, folks, for the last decade or more even, have been building both biped, like us, like humanoid looking robots, as well as the robo dog, the classic dog, robot dog that you see everywhere. That's Boston Dynamics. Google bought the company and had it for a number of years, operated it for a number of years. I don't know what they did with the IP or if the IP stayed a part of it, but then they spun it off. And Boston Dynamics started out as a DARPA project, if I remember correctly, and their whole goal was to build these kinds of futuristic robots that we're headed down the path for, and building a future for, where they're going to be, in space for us, but also in factories and even possibly in our homes, cleaning and cooking and so on, taking care of people. But we're not there yet. But it's interesting because in addition to Android XR, Google Android Robotics has also been making some progress, and I was able to get hands on and play around with a early interface at Google I/O for Google Robotics. I think it's called Robotics, Android Robotics. I don't remember. Where you talk into a microphone, and through using Gemini, it was translating instructions to a pair of robot arms, and they had some blocks on the table, and they had a towel that you could have it fold and place on the blocks and make a tower and put it in the bag, and then at the end of the whole demo, it actually handed us a gift bag with little robot in there. I have it around here somewhere. I gotta find it. If you didn't watch my Google I/O video, I have it on the desk in there. You can go watch the I/O video. I talk about that experience. Um, and I'll try to remember to put a link in later on if I have time. And essentially, you would just tell it, okay, move the left arm and pick up the red block, and it would use computer vision to look for the red block, and then go and pick it up with its arm, and then okay, now put the towel over the red block that you're holding and put it in the basket or something. And so, like, giving it instructions, and all of this is training how this model is capable of doing these different things on its own in a real world environment. So if they're hiring the former CTO, which is technology, the chief technology officer of Boston Dynamics, to come in and really give this a boost, then that means they're pretty serious about taking it to the next level. So I'm very excited to see that. I think Google wants to challenge Elon again, wants to challenge Tesla, as well as Figure and some of the other robotics companies. China is apparently building a absolute truckload of different robot companies that they're going to be using in their factories and stuff. And I think that's a concern, and that these companies like Google and Tesla and others want to be the ones to own the market, and not Chinese products that are out there that we can't necessarily control. Anybody ever see the movie iRobot or read the book? That's the terrifying future, and I don't think I want a crazy, creepy country that doesn't like us to have control over what my robot is able to do. And um, obviously, some of the jokes of these humanoid robots are one of them. I forget which one. It wasn't Figure. It was the new one that just came out. Has a subscription on it, and I think I shared this in one of my shows several weeks back. But it's like, oh, if you don't pay the subscription, is it going to smother you in your sleep with a pillow? It's like, pay up, human. So hopefully, you have a company that you actually trust running the robot, or not even running the robot, but the robot that you purchase. Be careful which bank you use, I guess, and whether or not they have the capability to tell the robot to hold you and shake you down for the money. Um, so that's an interesting point, and I digress ever so slightly there. I talked about at the very, very head top of the screen here that I am talking to you right now through the new Elgato Prompter XL. I have it. It is awesome. I'm loving it. It is, for those who are not familiar with this, they've had, here, let me grab it one second. Ooh, it's right here. I just don't want to knock anything over. This is the classic Elgato prompter, and they've had this for many years. This has been out for several years here. And essentially, what this does is you put your camera in through this little hole here, and it points this way. And as you might be able to see, yeah, you see my eye coming through there, that's a hole. But in front of it, right here at this slant angle, is a piece of glass, which there you go. You can see the reflection. You can kind of see the glass in there, see my hand. And what that does is it allows the camera to see out of the front of the slanted glass towards you, so it can record you through the glass. But this platform right here on the bottom, this flat, for the just the audio listeners, the flat platform at the bottom is actually I think it's an 8-inch screen, and it can be used for a number of different ways, a number of different things. One of them being like a classic teleprompter where it has the scrolling text on the screen, and you are able to be looking directly into the camera and reading the text as it scrolls on the screen. But what makes this super cool and a really big innovation in this space is that it's a monitor. So you plug it into your computer via USB-C, and it's a second screen, or third or fourth or fifth, depending on how many screens you have. In my case here right now on this computer, it is a second screen. So I've got my main monitor over to the right of me, and I'm looking into a monitor, but behind that monitor is the camera that's filming me. So the classic Zoom problem that we all experienced during, or Google Meet, sorry Google, during COVID, where you were never looking at the camera, you were never looking, into the lens, unless you're crazy like me and doing live broadcast in which you just learn how to do that. We were all looking like the camera was above, and so it looks like we're looking downward in instead of looking at the individual that we're talking to. This solves that because you can look through the screen, literally. You stare at the screen, you're staring at the camera, and so that makes it have a much more natural feel. A lot of streamers use this, a lot of gamers use this, a lot of people that want are recording for presentations or courses, they use this. And this is the little guy. This is the smaller version of it. The bigger version, which I'm talking to through right now, is a 15-inch screen. And actually, it has this really cool feature where the screen itself is removable. Check that out. I just so I all I did was, there's magnets on the bottom here. Where are the magnets? So you see this little guide piece here, and there's magnets surrounding it, and they are quite strong actually, and they click in to the into the platform below there, and that holds it in place very strongly. But you could theoretically just use this as another screen, and it's nice and matte so that it doesn't get glare or reflections. You can see how well it's handling the my studio light over there. So this is the size of it, and I basically have been not looking through this, but looking through the glass at the camera like I'm doing now. But what I'm seeing is what's on this screen. It's essentially, quote unquote, projected up onto the screen, and it looks like I'm looking at a monitor when really I am filming. So that's pretty cool, and I wanted to share that. I've got a video coming out on that. It's pricey, but it is very, very worth it if you're doing this professionally. If you want to be recording a course or something, training videos for folks in your business, things like that. I'm a big fan of that. And thank you, of course, to Elgato for sending that over so that I can make content about it and use it in my setup. So wanted to give a shout out for that because that is pretty cool. I already talked about the Ubiquity live stream that I did, but if you missed it, it was all of us having a good time. So go and check that out. I also have a video coming out on the new DJI Action 6. I bought it, weirdly wasn't available, but was available. Amazon was like, you're not going to get it until December 15th or whatever. And I was like, all right, well, I'll have it in time for a video that I'm shooting on the 15th. If it comes any earlier than that, I'll bring it with me, and it'll be a cool test, demo for that. And then it showed up next day, and I was like, okay, awesome. So I have to finish that video also. Maybe I'll do it over the weekend, or if not, definitely by Monday, because I've got it. Even though most of the people in America don't have it or know that it's available, I've got it. And so what what's really cool about that one, and here is for comparison, the DJI Action 4, the Action 6, which is the new model, it is slightly larger, but it has a new square sensor. So similar to how Apple did on the iPhone, where the selfie sensor is a square and you can use it to go vertical or horizontal. You're going to be able to film that way on the new Action 6 as well. Um, I'm trying to remember all of the details of it from the review that I was going through, but long story short, the screens are OLED. They're extremely bright. They're really nice outside. Because of that big sensor, you have much better low light or almost no light, like night photography, super night mode. All of that is so much better than it was on the 4. I had actually gotten to the point where I stopped using the 4 because I was just like, eh, I can get so much better video out of the Pocket 3, or even better, out of my phone if I'm filming with my phone than I am with an action camera. But action cameras are really, really handy for being extremely versatile, waterproof, practically bulletproof. I mean, I would throw this thing and be happy with it. It would bounce and totally be fine because it's really rugged that way. I mean, I don't recommend you do that necessarily, but I would do it because I'm crazy. Um, the the new one is capable of doing all that and more, and I am excited to really start using it. So I have to finish my review on that. I left it in the car, so I can't show it to you. I apologize. So moving on from that, that is coming. Stay tuned. What else do we have here? What time is it? 40. All right. UI chat we talked about. Oh, I had a fun one last week, and I posted this over on Twitter. I used the Ubiquity G6 instant camera, which is a Wi-Fi USB-C powered camera, to keep an eye on my soup as I was cooking last week because it was a hectic Friday and I was cooking some dinner and I was the only one home, but I needed to keep an eye on it. But I also needed to come back to my computer because I was trying to finish some stuff. I think I was finishing a video or something along those lines. And so I just kept the live stream open on one of my screens and I could see if it was, bubbling over, or if I needed to go get it or whatever, and make sure that it was boiling, really. It was cooking, it was doing what it was supposed to be doing, and so I thought that was rather, amusing. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out on my Twitter. I'm gonna pause for a drink here. Okay, so next up, if Ubiquiti doesn't come out with any new products next week, which who knows, maybe not. Who knows with Ubiquiti? But I have here a box because I haven't opened it yet, but I am going to start working on a review of the new UNAS Pro 8, I think. So I've got 3 8 terabyte drives here. I got 2 more elsewhere. I have 20 terabytes of data in my existing NAS in the rack here. And I am going to move it from one to the other. And this is going to be very interesting because A, it's all of my data. And yes, I could be backing it up into Google Drive, but one of the things that I need to do is expand my data here so that I can pull all of my Google Drive stuff down and clean it all up because it's a mess. It's been years and I've got backups of backups of backups duplicated, and yeah, it's really, really bad. And so my goal is to be able to utilize this storage here to pull all that down, clean it all up, clean out a lot of my storage. I'm currently using, I think, 9 terabytes in my Google Workspace, Google Drive storage, and shared drives, and so on. Um, Essentially, start fresh, clean it all out, start fresh. Because I'm starting to run out of space and I don't want to have to pay for more space. So I'm paying for it locally. And then when that's done, I can set it to back up to the cloud. But what I'm going to do here is, and we're going to see if this works. And of course, I'm going to make a video doing this, but I'm going to migrate 20 terabytes of data from one UNAS to the other UNAS, and we're just gonna let it run. We're gonna set it with a 10 gig connection, fiber, DAC from one to the other, and keep them on the network. And let's see how long that takes. It could take a week. It could take, a few hours. I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't done any of the calculations. We're just gonna wing it and full send it, and it's gonna be pretty fun. And as the younger kids say, YOLO, right? We're just gonna go for it, and we're gonna see how it goes. And I think it's gonna be a fun project, fun experiment. So that'll probably be, yeah, I'll definitely be doing that next week because I got to get this done. There is 1 or 2 reviews out there on this, but I wanted to get this out there because that's going to be pretty exciting here. Let's see. I had more things to talk about, but because I can't bring my notes up on the big screen, this is a little bit more fragmented than I want it to be. So I apologize. We talked about Google Next. We talked about oh right, we didn't talk about the fact that I have the new 5G Max from Ubiquity. I did a video on this yesterday. It's doing quite well. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. This is a great little device. It has a touchscreen on the front, tells you how fast it's going. But the whole point of it is that good timing. James asked a question for the 5G gear. Will it work with any cell carrier? Only U.S. providers are mentioned, but I did see Threatwire use it in the UK. I love to have it, but that's my fear. Inside Wire, I think, is who you're talking about. And yeah, he used it with a couple of UK carriers. It was O2, I think, and Olipop or something. I don't know. I apologize. I'm not familiar with any of the carriers over there, really. I don't have a list, but it's unlocked. So whatever that means for your part of the world, it's unlocked. It should work with carriers. It may not be certified on all of the carriers in America right now. It is certified and unlocked and capable of working on T-Mobile and AT&T. Verizon, hopefully by the end of the year, will be certified and they'll be able to start working with them. But for those who didn't watch my video, what this is, it's a 5G backup, or even if you want, technically you could use it as a primary connection to your Ubiquity stack. It needs a Ubiquity router, whether it's the UDM or the little Dream router that I have over here, or some of the smaller ones. You need to have that base because that's how it communicates. You can plug it into any switch on your network as long as it is directed or connected back to the rack. You don't need to plug it into the rack, which is really great because oftentimes where racks are located is not where the good cellular signal is. So you can put this on a window and then plug it into a switch that's next to the window that runs back to your rack, and it will still be able to use the cellular connection as your data connection. And that's really cool. I didn't expect that. I thought I was going to have to plug it directly into the rack and work from there. So that was a nice surprise there. There's also an outdoor one that I can show you, but I can't really talk about much more than that because it is still very early. You'll notice this one does not have a screen, but it does have a much more rugged mounting system set up because this is meant for the outdoors. So when I can, I'm going to be testing this and, of course, making a video about it. But as for right now, just know, as you would have seen on the website or in the launch video, that there is an outdoor version for those who are commenting about it needing an antenna port on the 5G Max. The indoor one, it does not have that, and there was some surprise or disappointment, I suppose, in folks that didn't see it that way. But that being said, there's an outdoor one, so I suppose you could use that instead. I think the outdoor one is also going to be really interesting for construction sites. I have one site in mind where I'm going to test it on that I've got 6, 12, 15 cameras or so, I think. The cameras are actually on two different networks because it's a large building and they're in two different areas, and it was just easier to get two different cellular connections in order to um, have those cameras online, but not you can't have a cable going from one to the other because they're doing construction in the middle. So I think that having something like that with the 5G, just to tap directly into the rack without needing to have something like this is the Inseego 5G T-Mobile router, which I actually have to do a video on as well. So I should do a comparison. That's a good idea. I should do a comparison between these two. That was stupid. Why didn't I think of that from my launch video? Sorry, everybody. I should definitely put these head to head and see how those perform because that seems like it would be something that's interesting for folks. And I have it standing here or sitting here because I was trying to test with its SIM card because I had some issues on my video with my SIM card. Turns out, if you didn't see my video, turns out T-Mobile SIM cards, and I don't know if this is everybody, T-Mobile SIM cards, if it's just a regular phone with data, etc., SIM card, you cannot use that in a data only device. It won't work. It's meant for phones. And they don't let you go back and forth. They used to. They used to do that all the time. It used to never be a problem. Um, so that is apparently an issue now. And so I went to T-Mobile and I got what do you call it? I got a data only SIM card and I put it in, and this thing, the 5G Max, lit up like Christmas and worked wonderfully once I did that. So I will next week. I will try and do a video. It might be a short, might be a short video, or it might be a short. We'll see. And just do a side by side comparison of at least in the US, both here in the studio, and maybe I'll go outside to where there's a better signal so that you can get really optimal conditions to see what that would look like. And then, yeah, because you can use a 5G network plugged into the rack as your ISP. I have that at a number of locations where we didn't have time or they don't have good options, and you don't want to use Starlink because Starlink at the end of the day is still going to space. So your total round trip ping time milliseconds is 20, 25, 30, etc., compared to fiber, which is 2. or 5 or 7, or cellular, which can also be, pretty. I mean, it can be up there, but not as bad because again, it's not going as far as space and back again. Also, when it goes to space, depending on which service you're on, it'll get routed to a different base station, which means it might be like your signal might be going to a data center in Kentucky instead of LA, even though you're in LA, because that's just the way that these things work at this point in time. Versus with a cell carrier, it's going to the cell tower, which has got to be what, within a mile of you, something like that. It can't be that far away, otherwise we wouldn't have such great signal. So something to keep in mind. I will definitely do that video because I should have thought of that. That was dumb of me. I apologize. Um, moving on from there. There was updates also to Notebook LM. So if you are using that, you should definitely go and check that out. I can't remember. Did I talk about anti-gravity and um, Gemini 3 on this show before? Can somebody tell me? I don't remember because I did a video on it. It's a big deal. If I didn't, if you haven't seen it, Gemini 3 is pretty much one of the leaders right now in in AI in most areas. Coding, I understand that Claude Code still has uh, some uh, some, what do you call it? Some advancements or some advantages over Gemini 3. But so many people are using Gemini 3 that, well, OpenAI had to declare code red, but also so many people are using it in all of the different products that Google has it in that we're getting rate limits on all of these products. And so we're trying to work with Google to say, hey, give us more. This is ridiculous. Turn on all the TPUs, like, and get this running so that we can use these products. Sorry, I just saw a question come in from, and I have to look closer here because it's hard to see. Yankolo Vasil. I'm sorry I butchered your name. I'm sure you want to know if the back is metal on the 5G, the indoor model. It's a polycarbonate, plasticky thing. I don't think that's metal. It's probably their polycarbonate. I think the website might have the answer for this. The outdoor one is metal. So let me just pick this up without whacking the microphone here. The back of the outdoor one, this is a metal grill heatsink. The front of it is also a polycarbonate type. So I can get clarification on that if you'd like, of the construction of these. I think the materials are usually listed on the Ubiquity site under technicals on the product page itself, and you can see the materials that it is made of there. But the plastic of it is the same type of plasticky, and then the back is no, I don't think that's metal. I think it's a polycarbonate shell kind of something. Anyway, moving on. I will have to go back and rewatch the old shows and see if I talked about anti-gravity and Gemini 3 because, quite frankly, I need more coffee and I cannot remember here. The video that I did on the 19th of November was tweeted by Google Cloud Tech, of one of the people that was talking about the releases to anti-gravity and Gemini 3. So that was pretty cool, pretty big accomplishment here on my part. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here because those are all the main topics that I have to talk about. I do have some other things here, but with my notes, and I don't know. I gotta rebuild all of my tech stack in here. Yes, I am promising to do a tour of the studio to get it all cleaned up. Full disclosure, I am going on vacation in Mac Telecom just dropped his 5G Max review. So go and check that out when you're done with this stream. Full disclosure, I am going on vacation from New Year's to the second week in January, so there will probably not be as much content from me in the beginning of the new year. Don't fret, don't worry. I'm not going anywhere. In fact, I've got big plans and big things coming together for 2026 that is going to be even bigger, ramping this up. I am actually talking to an editor. I might get somebody to start editing my videos, which means that I can get more videos out at a faster clip because I'm really good at talking. I can sit down behind this desk and talk all day long, as long as all I have to do is get the products in hand and do some research and testing and things like that. But editing takes a long time. So I promised myself that the next major sponsorship I get is going to come with paying an editor to start doing some editing, and we'll see if that comes about in the next couple of months or next couple of weeks. BJ wants to know what's the Tab Geeks logo on the wall. That's actually a test print that I did. It's canvas, and it's a canvas print of the Tab Geeks logo that I was experimenting with. I'm using Fourth Wall as my swag company, and I'm playing around. Hopefully, in 2026, we'll get some more designs. But that's where the shirt comes from as well, with the logo and the digital cyber circuits interconnectedness handshake is what the logo is there. And now you have some lore of the logo of both the logo of Tab Geeks and the name of Tab Geeks to start and to finish this show here. Yeah, Vassal says, quick comment on the price increase of RAM and SSDs. Good Lord, that got expensive fast. I noticed that the conversation has been going around this week that prices are through the roof. Two things are happening here is AI and AI. It's just plain and simple. You have enormous data center buildouts that are occurring, and all of those data centers need a bunch of different things. They need a crap load of fiber, they need a crap load of servers, they need a crap load of racks, they need a crap load of hard drives, and they need a crap load of RAM, as well as all of those things that make all of this magic happen is the AI chips. So whether it's Google with their TPUs or it's Nvidia and everybody who's building on Nvidia with the Nvidia TPUs, they're basically buying up the entire world's supply of hard drives and RAM. So anybody who has it is jacking their prices because that's business and that's how that goes. And if you can, wait. If you can't, good luck. I hope you get a raise next year or something so that you can afford to buy RAM. Oh yeah, Crucial. That's a good point, BJ. I did see that they're shutting down Crucial. That's very sad. I think the first RAM I ever bought was Crucial back when I was in high school and I was upgrading my laptop. Sad times. They were really, I think they got bought out a bunch of times, and then they're goodbye to the consumer side of that business. And a direct relation to the question about RAM is it's getting very expensive and very difficult to do RAM. Um, I imagine there's more to it than that. It's, the business side of these things. I will look into that. I'm curious. I'm curious what the behind the scenes or the inside baseball on that was because that's unfortunate. These brands do go away, but I feel like Crucial still had a lot of brand power behind it. So, but hey, I'm not involved in everyday building of PCs and buying their hardware and whatnot. So what do I know? But I was surprised to see that. All right. Have a good weekend, everybody. I'm going to wrap it up here and let's keep it to an hour so that, it doesn't drop off too much at the end and folks can go about their days. And thank you all for what has been a great year and is continuing to be. This isn't the last live stream for the year. I'm at least going to do one more next week. And I also, as I mentioned, I'm going to have one on Monday. So make sure that if you're interested in the Android XR side of things, which I know a lot of you are, tune in for that. Let me know, even if you weren't here for the live stream, comment on the video if you want me to do a live, watch it live rebroadcast of the Android XR show, and then continue immediately thereafter, and comment on it. I think I'm going to have quite a bit to say about it. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun, whether we do a watching party together or I just go live right after. Either way, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So stay tuned. Have a good weekend, everybody. Northeast folks and northern folks, I hear you're getting a lot of snow. So stay warm, stay dry, stay safe, and enjoy the snow. I miss the snow. I know it can be a pain, but I romanticize it because I don't have it anymore in Southern California and I miss it. But that's all from me. Have a great week, and I will see you all probably, well, a lot of you on Monday, and hopefully all of you next week on Friday. Bye, all.